This channel is for educational purposes only. Please do your own due diligence before making any investment decisions. Hi, this is Rabil with Invest Like a Pro, and today I'm still in a hotel room. I should be back in my office next week, but I wanted to make sure I got in this video because I think based on where the market is right now and some of the patterns that are developing, it's worthwhile to go back and look at a specific setup from my book. And what I want you to understand, if you're a new subscriber, what I'm trying to do here is help people look at MACD and ADX in multiple time frames and how to use it in conjunction with the price action to identify good quality trade setups. Most of the time, I'm looking at trend following techniques and playing in conjunction with the trend. However, based on where we are right now, there have been a lot of setups that are counter trend. And I want to talk about something specifically with respect to MACD, where you want to look at it in multiple time frames and look for this specific setup. I talk about the 2 time frame pinch in my book, but this is a different version of that, and I think a lot of people overlook it, but I want to make sure you understand that it does qualify. So let's go ahead and get into the example today. So I've got 3M up, and I've got my 4 time frames. I'm going to trade. The trade I'm going to explain is off the daily and the hourly. However, if I'm going to go and look for a trade off the daily and hourly, I want to have a good reason to do that off the bigger time frames. And I can start with the monthly chart, and I can look at what's going on here, and I can see we've got pretty solid support in 3M on the longer term chart, right in this zone around 140. You see where it bottomed here, and then it overran this area, but then closed there, and now we're back right in that zone. So this has been a pretty key area. So that's a pretty good starting point. The other thing that I would tell you is that we're really far away from the 18-month. We've had a thrust to the downside. We formed a tail last month, and we're forming another tail this month. And we have some distance between both the 18 and the 40. And notice how we've made a big drop from 210 all the way down to 140-ish, and the 18 is still above the 40. This is not a trend. This is an oversold situation because the 18 is still above the 40. And when I see a big drop like this, where the 18 is still above the 40, you got to start thinking there's going to be some kind of a retracement back. So if I start there, I've got that working for me. Now, look at what's going on the weekly chart. So again, we're stretched away from the 18-week line. We also have made a pretty good run to the downside, and I can look at this MACD and recognize that this is getting oversold. Okay, now MACD is a momentum indicator, but it's also an overbought, oversold oscillator. So when we get up into this, region up here that you'd consider to be kind of like an overbought region, then you'd be looking for this trade going the other way. In this situation, we've gotten oversold on the weekly. So I'm looking at this and I'm saying, okay, I'm into pretty big support. I'm stretched away, but I don't have a trend to the downside on the monthly chart. I'm stretched away on the weekly, and I'm getting oversold in MACD on the weekly chart. So now I want to go down to the daily chart and look at what's taking place. So there's a few things that I'd want to isolate here. Number one, we had a trend line that was a pretty good trend. You started it here, tested it, tested it, tested it, tested it, tested it again, and then we broke it. And then we came back and tested that line. And in the process of doing that, we came down, and look, that's basically a double bottom in price. But look at what MACD did. Look at the difference between this low and the low where price made a low. So, you know, if you go back to that level, MACD is making a significantly higher bottom. Not only that, so I would consider that to be divergence. But not only that, we have a pinch play develop. See how the MACD is holding its signal line, and this line is rising. So I've got the trend line, the slow moving average line on the MACD going up, and I've got this pinching back while price is pulling back, and I've made 2 lower highs. So at that point, I've broken the trend line, tested the low, and now I'm turning up from there. So I've got some things here that are pretty appealing when I look at the bigger picture and then zero in on what's going on in the daily chart. So if I look at where this is starting to lift off, now I go down to the hourly chart. And so I've got on the daily chart, I have a pinch play that is more like a divergent pinch. But it does qualify. Now, most of the time when I'm looking at pinch plays that are 2 time frame pinch plays, I want to hold the 18 MA on both time frames. But I clearly talk about this in my book when I go through all the different examples, this divergent on the one higher time frame, and then I go down to the lower time frame, and I've got divergence on the higher one, and then on the lower one I want the classic pinch play. Now this is a pinch, but it's not, when I have divergence, I don't really want to play this when the 18 is still falling like that. So that would disqualify this as a trade. Okay, that is a pinch though. All right. And it would have taken out that high and then gapped up the next day, and then it would have retraced and probably stopped you out. Now, on the second one, we had lower high, actually lower high, lower high, lower high. And then we took out this bar right here, and you use the stop right here. And it's about $1 that you're risking. So if you were looking to do it exactly like I describe in the book, and remember, this is another pinch right here. If you were going to do it exactly like I talk in the book, your target would have been probably somewhere in this zone up in here, and you would not have been taken out. That would have been 3 times your risk. So at about $1, add 3, and that would have been the target. You wouldn't have hit it. But again, if you follow the rules in the book, you would have put a stop at a break-even level, and you would have been stopped out at a break-even. Okay, so no harm, no foul. You didn't make any money in this trade, but you didn't lose either. It gave you a shot. It got pretty close, and then it backed off. Now, one thing I'll tell you is I have found that if you use 2 times instead of 3, so if you look at you're risking $1 and you go for 2, that you can play these, and your win rate is going to go up a little bit. Okay, you're not going to make as much, but your win rate should go higher. So that's one option. But let's just say you look for 3 to 1 and you didn't get it. Now, you go to you broke even, and now look at what happened. We got another pinch, and I like this one even a little bit better because look at this. This is crossing the 0 line, and this one has green DI holding the red. Do you see that? We did not have that in any of these other pinch plays. It was every time it retraced, it didn't have that. So this one is a better quality setup. The difference is that if we're going to play this one, we've got we're getting long above this bar, and our stop's going to go here. We're risking about $2. Okay. Now so if we risk 2, we're going for 6. It's probably up right in this area, just above 150, maybe 151, something like that. So we're going for that, but we have reached the midpoint again. And so you'd be sitting at a break even on this trade. Now, is this trade going to work? I don't know. I find that if you're doing these trades, you're probably going to break even about 1/3 of the time. And if you go for 2, so if you go for 2, now you only need to get, in other words, instead of going for 3 to 1, you go for 2 to 1. Somewhere right around in this range, if we get another little move up, you're going to hit another target. So you could have taken this trade and hit a 2 to 1 target, and then taken this trade and gotten very close, but you'd be at a break even either way. If this can turn back up, you'd have 2 targets hit instead of 1. So it is something to think about. I wanted to mention that because I have kind of been, I know the reason why I like 3 to 1 is that you could have a win rate that's at like 35 or 40% and still make money. So you don't have to be as good at finding the best ones, Okay, and you can, and if you have the 3-to-1 working in your favor, and you do that consistently, you can still make money with a pretty low win rate. So that was kind of my reasoning for why I put it in the book. But if you're looking at DI, if you're looking at some of these other things, if you're looking at the longer term trend, which I don't talk about in the book, and the big support area, and the fact that the MACD was getting oversold on the weekly, then you can play these maybe for just quick 2-to-1 trades. So it's worth looking at. You can certainly look at it that way. Now, I want to point out that what makes trading difficult is taking a trade here and then breaking even, and then a day later, you're stopped out here, remember. You're getting stopped out on this bar, and then the next bar, it's setting up again. You can't forget about it. You have to be able to take the next setup 2 days later and get in. That's tough. That's tough to do if you're a trader. You just put in a trade, you almost made a profit, and then you get stopped out, and then you're thinking, do I want to do this all over again? And I would say yes, because I think the quality of this trade was good. Now you've made a move to the upside, you're at a break even, you've gone about halfway, so you can put this at a break even stop and then see if you can get lucky. And I literally call it just getting lucky. Put your tail over the road and see if you get run over by the luck truck. I mean, try and get these 3-to-1s. It's not, the thing is that trading in the market is a lot more about discipline than being the great analyst. Okay, I think I'm a phenomenal analyst, and I have always been a great analyst. Really, since I started back in the early '90s, it just came easily for me. But where I really started making money was where I started to become a good trader, and that's where I stopped worrying about the analysis, and I worked really, really hard at being disciplined. So that's what I suggest for you is work on your discipline, work on the mental side of this game, because you have to be able to take a break even and then get back in 2 days later. Tough to do, but it's got to be done if you want to be successful as a trader. Okay, go ahead and post any questions or comments. We'll see you next time.